They moved on. They're going to the refrigerator, man.
Ow! That's right. Victor Allen's new Sportz. Rub his hand and make a wish. Brought to you by Victor Allen. A recurring segment of the Morning Cup with Mario show. Victor's unique fan-based view of sports. Brought to you by the man the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolates. Hope you dressed appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps. Get ready! It's time for sports! Don your apparel!
Oh, you like that, huh? It's all good, man. I feel you. I'm going to make sure Mario's doing his transition. You got your transitions for your social media. You got that all working because I know that break worked for you, but it's making
sure. Well, now we just go straight through at Facebook. So.
Right, because you're not doing the...
Yeah, we don't do... We just upload the separates later on.
There you go. All right. Hey, you guys. Hey, welcome. Don't mean to turn my shoulder to you. I'm only doing this because I'm talking to Mario, but I'll switch it up now and then and just switch up the camera. Not trying to ignore him. Hey, look. Okay. I'm not supposed to talk about anything else but football first, right? I can't talk UFC. Can't talk boxing. I can't talk skiing.
But you're a rule breaker.
Which is the competition where I'm sitting back. Hey, man.
I watched it.
I'm telling you, I can talk it all, but if I can't pronounce some of the names, then I'm going to kill it. All right, man. All right, I'm going to do this because I hate throwing people under the bus because who am I to say this? But when I watched the Patriots in Jacksonville, dude, all I'm saying is this. They say every move counts, right? Every move is a count. And when you dominate, no, let's forget it. They didn't dominate. They handled their business all the way up to about 1 minute and 40 seconds before the game ended. I know everybody's going to pick it apart. They're going to talk about penalties. And I'm going to say this. The teams who are the up-and-coming teams, the first issue you got to deal with is discipline. You see how many penalties they got. Now, everybody's going to say the penalties don't matter. I say, so if you give...
Oh, no, the penalties matter.
If you give Tom Brady 100 yards in penalties, what does that equate to? And especially if it's when the penalties turn into first downs. It's different when you're on offense, man. And you go, oh, we executed a great play, but we had a penalty. It's totally different when you go, it's 3rd and 10.
Oh, yeah, no.
And Tom Brady's about to do this. You guys got him, but then there's a penalty. So the lesson I learned from this was they say you always look at where people have been. So you give them, remember the whole boxing thing, Mario? They say if you're going to go beat the champ, you just can't have a draw. You got to go beat them. And if you're on their home turf, you have to beat them decisively. So I'm not mad at that part. I'm going to tell you the part I'm mad at, man, which tripped me out. I'm just, forget the penalties. Have you ever seen a team in the first half with little under 1 minute to go give up on offense and says, just take a knee. We don't need to do anything. Meaning that we don't want to risk the possibility that our quarterback cannot do anything substantially enough. He will be a bigger threat to turn the ball over than to go in and take a shot down the field. Now, I'm just saying this. Did that hit you, or did you just say, hey, it's a minute to go, don't worry about it? If it was Tom Brady, he'd take a knee too, right?
There was a bunch of places. I thought they ended the first half horribly.
That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the first half, they took a knee.
Well, they not only did they okay, even before that, they relaxed enough to me to let all that happen. They relaxed significantly.
Right.
To let all that go, to let all that happen.
Right.
And it could have almost been that New England was actually looking for a way to get another score in.
Man.
Like another field goal or something just by getting the ball back and going down. So, no, it was a worst nightmare of mistakes.
Right.
Especially, and I'll go on and say it.
Say it.
You talk that much crap.
Thank you.
And then you get two specifically.
Hey, man.
To Ramsey.
Look.
You get 2 pass interference calls on you that are
obvious. Right. Now, I'm going to say this.
Even Boye, whatever. He too. You're getting now beat. Here you guys are, the named people.
Right.
who get mentioned in all the sports shows.
Right.
And you're getting beat by no-name people and a wide receiver that most people consider to be diminutive.
Right.
Little guy.
But
Little guy, Amendola's eating you alive.
I got.
And Tom Brady's passing like...
Okay, let me say that. Here's the other part. When they say, do you believe the hype or do you not believe the hype? And when I say that is, did you expect this? This is what I'm saying. They call Jacksonville Saxonville. I didn't come up with that name. That reputation, if this team gets at you. And I'm talking about adjustments. I'm going to the offensive coordinator because somewhere along the way you have to go. You do know they're going to stack the box. Leonard Fournette is not going to get what he got before. And since you know that's coming, we don't want Blake to use his legs. And I want you guys to come out with the same plays. They came out in the second half. And look, I'm giving props to Brady and the Patriots. They said one man goes down, we still step up. This team in the second half did nothing to adjust. They didn't get creative. They didn't do anything. Do you understand when you're sitting up there going like this? Here's the threat. When you go look at the rushing yards from the Patriots, and you can actually go down below the pick, Mario, you can see the data on the rushing and the passing, and you're going, so if you stopped New England from a rushing game, and they stopped you, even though you had more yards on the ground, they adjusted. I literally was sitting here going, you guys are just... You're not going to even do anything. They're stacking the whole box, so you don't even have confidence that you could throw over the top, stretch the field. Not even Blake Bortles will use his legs as a threat. Everything went conservative, and I'm saying that's not the way. Not the way you're going to beat the Patriots.
They weren't, and the thing about it was, for the most part, the defense did reasonably well, even with the rush and all that. For the most part, you figure. In your best case scenario, you're going to be holding the Patriots. You're not going to hold them to 2 touchdowns. No one is.
Right.
So if you say hold them to 21,
right,
and you hold them to 24, so then the Jaguars could have won this game, and it definitely involves to me certain things they never did. And actually, when it comes to the rushing, to tell you the truth,
right,
they really actually had moments where they established, that was part of the first drive, where they were getting good runs. They were actually beating them on the regular in the first half.
Right.
The regular nose-to-nose stuff, the runs, getting reasonable gains in those runs, just not sometimes getting the third down like they should have.
And they have, and remember now, they
ample opportunities.
They had more first downs on third down than the Patriots did.
Yeah, they had ample opportunities.
So this is one of those where the rushing yards for New England's total was 46 yards. 46 yards. And if you want to follow more, you can actually go below the graph and you'll see all the data. Leonard Fournette didn't have that bust-out game. He had 76 yards, but the total was 101 yards. Actually, Blake threw a few more yards than Tom Brady. What I'm getting at is not necessarily the yard. It's the difference between the penalties, lack of discipline, and conservatism. I said, if you sit there and say, we just don't trust Blake.
They got out-coached.
Out total.
And their big-name players didn't make big mistakes. In other words, the 2 passes, I understand their objections with some of the other calls, but the 2 obvious pass interference calls. And the way they let Crooks, whatever.
What are you doing?
These are no-name people. Made him look like an all-star. They were playing him back so far. I'm going, wow.
They kept saying it.
You were playing them back. Is he an all-star, all-pro receiver that you have to play him that loose?
They don't have any speed people over the top that's going to stretch the field. They just are fearing. They're going like this. I can't let him beat me long. And I'm going, now here's the part I'm getting at, Mark.
Like 5.
Watch this.
15 yards
Jacksonville, back. Did you, this is how tough it is. Did you understand that Jacksonville didn't do anything in addition to pressing Tom Brady when it came down to crunching? This is what New England did. They said, if we back you up where you're on the 10 on your offensive drive, and you got Blake, we're going to come after Bortles. Now, when they did it with Tom, they said, well, 3-man rush. We're going to keep it all through the game. So imagine Thomas sitting there going like this. So you guys are not going to change up anything. You're going to keep doing the same thing. He says, okay. And I said, so you did not do anything to adjust the looks. I said, forget it. Game over.
Even without
Game over, man.
Gronkowski, even without him the whole second half.
Right.
Like I said, they made the backup players.
Right.
And they made Amendola, I mean, here you go.
Hey,
his career is going to be known for outperforming the bigger people because he makes all those catches and they're not guarding him.
Right.
He's not supposed to be the fastest receiver in the
Right.
world.
Right. You're not supposed to. You're not. Okay. When I'm not looking. What I'm looking for is neither one of my teams. So this, to me, is just about when you all of a sudden get at that moment and you got to go to the Super Bowl, and you literally are going, let's give them something a different look, and you don't do it. And I'm going, so you guys are not going to really make Tom Brady fear any rush. It's going to be 3-man rush, maybe 4-man rush. That's it. Nothing else. You guys are that good. And if he's picking you apart on drives in the second half and you don't adjust, then what you're fearing is that he's going to go long. And I said, but you guys don't have anybody to stretch. They don't have anybody to stretch the field long that you have to worry about on speed. So I'm only saying. I
understand. To me, I thought going into this that the big issue was they had the secondary.
Yes, they did.
To deal with everything. And they did not perform.
Well, Ramsey was the big guy who can say, I can be assigned to Gronk. And they did their job. Get Gronk out of it. Took him out, didn't they? Still didn't work. Because the conservative offensive play calling.
The other guy looked like an all-pro, see?
Right. I'm only saying.
They kept getting beat with regular
underneath
even
big
though the
gaps.
Passes were pinpoint.
Big gaps underneath.
Wonderful passing display.
Yeah, okay.
He was putting the ball right where it had to be.
Right.
But still, they were getting beat.
Yes, they were. And if you go, and the stats really don't tell the story. It's the timely calls. So hey, I just wanted to get out because I expected the Patriots to win. I just didn't expect Jacksonville to take a conservative position that they did. Because the game is always full of adjustments. All right. The game that I think everybody got caught up in the hype. When they talked about who's favorite, everybody said Minnesota. Everybody was just, this is the hype. And I'm only thinking like this. Do you know Minnesota barely got past New Orleans Saints? So
oh, yeah,
which Minnesota are you talking about?
Based on the miraculous play.
Right, that's it. They barely got. So what's this? And everybody kept talking about this year.
They got through them with scoring points.
But the part that I keep saying, and they kept saying it, the people who are really picking those sides said, you really don't know how well balanced this team is, Philadelphia. Also, I saw speed. When I say speed, I saw speed where I was going. They said when you deal with Philadelphia, you don't realize how good they are offensively, defensively, and balance and speed. So my whole point was to say, when I looked at it, I said, oh my God, they're overwhelming them. Is it that they didn't freeze up, Mario. This is the part where they were going like this. Everybody fell in love with this. Carson Wentz is gone. That's it. The team's going to fall apart. And I said, but this is going to be the best. This is the best backup story next to Kurt Warner coming in and taking the Rams to the Super Bowl, where they sit back and say, this guy's he almost did a perfect QBR rating. He had all day to throw. They didn't get close to him. This team was supposed to be the top defensive team. They didn't get close to him. So my point, this is the part where I have to do this evaluation. It's just me. Are they going to get dominated by New England?
No, and that's where it gets to be. We have hope. Okay, for those of us who are New England haters, there is hope in this game. There's hope in this game. There was hope in the Jacksonville game. There really was hope there too.
Right.
So, and justified too by the score. It didn't have to be that way.
Right.
So there's hope in this one too. I get to root for Philadelphia, but specifically, no, they look like they're up to the task. In fact, I'm curious. I don't know. Does anyone know who's favored?
Yes, 5.5 points right now. It's the biggest gap they said since 2009, the Super Bowl.
Who's favored?
New England. That's why I said they.
Okay.
And we're going to get to that in the moment. What
that might be a bet to take in Vegas.
Well, and here's my thing. Let me just say this, because I think people are going to get caught up in this. They're saying, what did you see on the field? Did you see Minnesota underperform? Or did you see Philadelphia go, once Carson Wentz went down, you guys took us off the playing board? Actually, the week before last week, when they played in the playoffs, they had in the NFC, the ratings of the NFC teams, I think they had Philadelphia 6 in the NFC. So here's the two teams that's coming to the table.
Who was rated 1 in defense?
Number 1 in defense, it was Minnesota.
That's what I thought. They were number 1 in defense.
Right, they were number 1 in defense.
So that says something, because they got really manhandled.
Yes, they did. It was
the runs
all
that LeGarrette Blount, like one.
Hey, scrambled eggs.
They just ran.
Foles was like
holes.
this. I could just cook breakfast back here. They couldn't get to him. And what makes it so interesting is that I think everybody fell for the whole thing of, well, if they don't have Carson Wentz, the whole team is going to collapse. And they kept saying, look at the stats and look at how they're beating teams once they got around Nick Foles. So.
Well, they should have. I can understand them saying that early in the season.
Right.
I wasn't saying that before this. Anyone who was really kind of stupid. They've already proven what they are with Foles. So
right.
That doesn't need to be restated.
Right.
So there's enough history in the preceding games.
Right.
So, no, they weren't going to fall apart. It was just a matter that Minnesota they were felt to have they had the number 1 defense.
Right.
But I guess people were expecting that was going to be more of an issue for Philly not to. People were expecting, I don't know about that, 14 points might win the game. Right. People were actually saying stuff like that. 14-10, 14-7. There was no one predicting even a game in their 20s.
Right.
So, it ended up being 38-7.
So whose defense arrived?
Philly.
Philly's defense arrived.
Well, I would say more their offense arrived too, because the way that they were clicking, that's going to be a big deal, because to me,
right,
it's interesting that the Patriots are favored.
I can understand why, because they can score. They don't have an overwhelming defense, but they got a good defense. And if you have Brady, and they have already exposed, which we're going to be going to,
the X factor,
because their weakness in Philly, if there's any weakness, they say they have 2 young DBs or 1 young DB who stands out that they can go and pick on. So that's not the point. The point is, to me, what you do with Brady, because we're getting into that now, so we might as well go on over to it. The Super Bowl now. It's the Super Bowl pick. We already know that Patriots right now are 5.5. They probably go up 6.5 before we even get a few days before. They'll probably even take it even further. But the part I sit back and say is, what you do is turn into a scoring offense. If you're going to sit back and offset Brady, don't do what Jacksonville do. Don't do that. Be conservative. just here, hand the ball off. We don't want to fumble. We don't want to do this. Just don't take that attitude. I think Philadelphia is faster. That doesn't mean that they have a Brady. Also, to keep them honest, man, this is the part where you say, Nick has some legs. He has some legs. So here's the part. Here's the part that you're dealing with. Now you know who's favored, man. You got to make
Gronkowski's back and Brady's there
all day.
Then I think Philly's going to have trouble with Gronkowski.
So you don't think they're going to have problems with Blount, who used to be on the Pats, and
I think
Ajayi?
I think
they're going to have problems.
They're going to have problems. It's going to be.
He can't key in on the rushing only.
It should be a good game. The best teams are there.
They won't dare Nick Foles to throw like they did with Jacksonville, where they said put the 8 men in a box to stop the run. They said, you do know that this is a different team.
The Patriots do a different way of defending people. Right, and like you said, they're the best adjusters.
Right,
aren't they the best known for that? They're the best.
So
whatever you're doing, they're going to come back with something.
Right. So top to bottom, if you compare Jacksonville and Philly, and you see New England was losing at home for most of the game. Are we saying that Philadelphia is a less formidable than Jacksonville? I'm going.
No, they're more formidable.
That's
In other words, to me, even I don't know what the numbers are, I actually take Foles over Bortles.
Easy. Dude.
Even though Bortles has some of the other stuff.
His QB, the rating, he hit 144 this game. He said he almost had a perfect score. That's how good he was. Everybody's going,
well,
wow.
That's after the fact. I was just saying even before that I still felt that I was more comfortable with that offense.
And he wasn't a game manager either.
Right. No, but just the way they could play it.
Right. Okay. All right. Wait. Look. So here's my pick. They don't care, Mario. Who you picking? Here's my pick.
I'm gonna pick Philadelphia.
I'm not picking against. Tom.
I'm not saying my logic. I'm going to root for Philadelphia. I'm going to be pushing for them.
Right.
They have a chance. I think I don't necessarily disagree with the point spread. I think it's a little narrower, but yeah, that's less than a touchdown.
Yeah.
So when you interpret it like that,
yeah.
They're saying so New England wins by less than a touchdown.
I'm. Here's the part. I wish I would have went and looked at the players and see how many of them have playoff experience before this year. I didn't. That's my fault. I'm going to have to judge accordingly. I'm literally going with Philadelphia to win. I haven't decided the points only because I just truly believe they got underestimated based on the balance they have. The balance is unbelievable, and I didn't pay attention to it until somebody kept saying, They are who they've been this whole year. They're overwhelmingly better than you think. So I'm going to go with Philly on this. Not to go against New England, I'm going with Philly. If I had to make this bet, now, you know how things go. Everybody can turn around and say, well, they got Brady. I said, okay, that's no problem. I got Brady. Take him. All right. We're in the age now, man, where unfortunately we'll probably, until the rules change, can't compare the next high school phenom to the last one we know of, which was LeBron James. But is this, I call him a man, okay? This guy's name, I'll call him Z. Zion, whatever they pronounce his name to be, because I've heard it both ways. Williamson, 6'7", 270 pounds, and it ain't butter. He is a man-child. You remember Mike Tyson when he first boxed Mario? They said, okay, how often do you see those guys get in the ring? Waist up, they yoked. Waist down, a little slim. This one of these guys, he is what they call that. Whoa, if he was a tight end in the NFL, he would be 6'7", 272, 17 years old. I put a comparison of a high school picture of LeBron in his last year and Zion. Okay. You see the boyish looks with LeBron? And I'm saying, you got to go look at this guy. I've seen him. Just so you know that he's not one of those, I just get under the basket. Go to the next picture. And you can see where sometimes they say, I get lifted. And he's a lefty. All right. You don't even see the floor. When you see how much distance this guy got, he is unbelievable. He just
looks like his elbows near rim. Though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You got to go see
his
him.
Elbows near rim.
Dude.
Rim height.
Duke just got him. Day before yesterday. He did visit UCLA. Unfortunately, you know what that meant. No chance. No chance, dude. So here's the other thing. The ESPN prep rankings, he's not number 1. He's number 2. So you ask, how come I didn't bring number 1 in? I said, no, you don't get it. He's just turning 18, and he's huge muscularly. So my question is, it's up to us. If this was a one and done, we're going to go, is he going to spend 1 year at Duke and get out? That's the first question. But when he gets with Coach Z, we won't know until later. The real question is, had the NBA had not that rule of you can't come straight out of high school, would he be drafted in the NBA if that rule was eliminated? Based on the stats.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would be. Marcus Malone was the last. I don't know who else was drafted out of high school.
Oh, wait a minute.
Marcus Malone, I believe.
No, Bynum. Bynum was the last one.
right,
Andrew
right.
Bynum, I think,
Yeah,
was the
right.
last one who
Right.
got in before they changed the rule.
Right.
And I'm talking about phenom, though. When I say
'Cause
phenom,
Kobe came out of high school.
Kobe, yeah. LeBron is the last phenom, the one that just delivered. I mean, I'm not just coming out of high school. Delivered, I think, was LeBron. Nobody since, because the rules changed. What we're comparing is, give him a year under Duke. Will he turn out to be, with that size, 272? Dude, I don't think there's anybody in the NBA, unless they're like 7'2", 7'3", and huge, is bigger than this guy, and he's muscle. So I'm not trying to get ahead that he doesn't, he's at a high school level. He has to get that year under his belt.
Yeah, but the issue, the way they look at it is that if he's a certain amount of physical maturity and specimen, that he benefits under the pro system,
Right.
with a different level of coaching and attention.
Right.
That's the part that's different.
True.
And no matter what, even at a high level basketball program, at a very high level like Duke or North Carolina, any of these other ones, you still are not approaching that of the best NBA teams who will be getting him. You may be approaching to some of the more minor NBA teams, maybe.
Right.
But I'm just saying the level of coaching and all of those things he'll experience, Vic,
Right. So
way different.
yeah, what I'm enjoying about this is that I always say it's very difficult to stop these cats who basically, it's hard to stop somebody who's a southpaw, which is a lefty. It's another thing when they're big. They usually come slim, a little lanky, maybe sometimes, or a point guard who you're so used to defending on the right hand because they're righties. It's like James Harden. No matter what, he knows how to get by you on both sides, but they know he's going to go another way. This guy, I can't wait to see. They've done mixtapes on him. He's done contests. He doesn't even have to get involved in that. He's so far beyond by his skill and what he has learned. So I'm hoping that for the most part we get to enjoy it. I give him 1 year at Duke unless he totally doesn't know how to play in the system.
2 at the most.
Yeah, see, you already said
Yeah, 2,
right.
because I wouldn't even
Right.
advise. You need to go on and get. The question is whether see, that's a good coach for him to have as a maturing point for a lot of other things.
Right. I agree.
So, at least that's what people say.
Yep. Hey, you guys, I'm getting out of the sports right now. I'm not going to cover everything else, but just so you know, the Larry Nassar, the gymnastics scandal, the coach who basically who's being hit, because of the abuse that he did with the USA Gymnastics, particular members of the team. 3 board members, since that was also an issue, have resigned. I won't get into more details about that. Just go follow and see the reading. The board members were coming under what they would call a controversial conversation because of the knowledge of things. So 3 of them have resigned. I'll cover that probably next week. Just go check it out. Man, it's bad. When they're walking away, something's up. Other than that, man, I'm out of sports, dude. Done.
Victor Allen, New Sports, is unique fan-based view of sports. A recurring segment here every week. The Morning Coffee with Mario show. Tune in and dress appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps. That's everybody. Keeps us confused.
Right. That's what it does.
Sports now. Yeah.